Eh, oh, mm, wait ah. Mm,
What happened?
yeah, it's okay. I have to do it at. I have to change the timing to something. Okay, then it will go live immediately. What is this, man? Oh, it's deleted on it. Damn it. So remove the destination and re-edit. Ayo. Okay. Sorry. Hello, hi, we're live. And hi, Thilles. Okay, so we're live. Apparently, so there was some technical things, but it's okay. We're on, and we are live on Win and also on YouTube. So this is our ask it's an ask June anything on the conversation with Ask Tillis anything. So whosoever is out there, welcome. Let's see who's we have 4 people who are viewing, and we hope to see more. So today is session 5 of the conversation. We've been a bit quiet on the conversation because we've been so busy. As you know, we just had one bazaar and we're having another one next week, and they are coming fast and furious. And so it's about time to talk also about business, proper business on Win, and also our physical bazaars. So, welcome all who are coming in. So, as you know, this is a live session, but we will also be launching it as a pre-recording after the session is over. For those of you who are unable to have seen it from the beginning, can just go back and see it in totality. Okay, right, everybody. I can see some people coming in. So welcome. So this is hi Z and hi a few other people. For those of you, please share your Facebook profile so we can know who you are. So when you ask questions, we can answer directly. So Thilles and myself will ask to the best of our expertise. Okay. So Thilles, welcome. We have Thilles from TAC One Stop Solution. She is our tax expert, and she has been sharing a lot within Win. All our I think you've been doing a lot to share about the tax situation, and also about business and doing business properly and ethically in and so on. So I think I'm not such an expert on this. I mean, though we have Win groups in India and Berhad, and I'm following as an end user the proper ways and so on. I've asked Thilles to join me because we've had this discussion, Thilles, right, for quite a while now, about having a proper session talking about how we can enable our members to comply with the variety of incoming things that are happening now as we speak. So, it's about time that I also step up and enable and support others who have, who are about to start business or very seasoned in business, that they must be, they must keep up to date and be abreast of all the situations concerning how they need to do business properly. So just to share, Tilas, I think I've shared some concerns, and then we've been talking about, we have to get this down, we have to sit down. So I said, let's do it. Let's do this, and let's have a conversation about. It's sometimes talking about money and talking about being audited and taxed. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, let's not talk about it. Let's put it aside until the very end, and let's avoid it. So now is April, and you will also talk about some deadlines. You will talk about why it's important to. So I'll ask you some questions, but before asking the questions, I will just share about the recent update we had on. Just I think early in April, we talked about an amnesty until 1st of May. And I said we will have a conversation about sharing why it's important to have a registration displayed, whether you are an enterprise and also or a Sindian Berhad. At all Wind Bazaars moving forward from 1st of May onwards, when you register for our bazaars, you Okay. So the company must be, of course, a registered valid company in which you are the proprietor or the director of the company, and you must be the person who is there present to sell at our business. Okay. And even if the person is an agent or represents a company, they have the authority to do so and display the brand and logo of said company. Okay. So this is important. And in addition, is you must have your prices displayed very clearly, not handwritten, but published in a A4 laminated with your prices. And must be displayed because there's a variety of audits happening now on site. We have minimally for the licenses to enable that we have the right to trade. We have permits and licenses which needs to be issued by the councils, and then of course we need to follow the strict SOP and compliances. Then we also have the Ministry of Health, requirements of KKM and typhoid for food handlers. That's very strict. So we need that to be on site. We will collect a copy of that, keep it on a dossier, and you can also be audited by KKM at any time. Then there's also this audits by the Ministry of Trade and Domestic Affairs. If I've got it correctly, I've also put it in the info kit. It is Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Malaysia, okay, from KPDN HEP. They can actually do an on-site audit anytime to ask you when they don't see your displayed prices printed, and they may also ask you to give your IC. They will check you online to see whether you are a valid business, because once you're in the public domain in a face-to-face situation, you are pretty much very present there. And when you look at it, most e-commerce websites now, they are requesting SSM registration and all that. So there's a lot of compliances going on because you need to be accountable, visible, accessible to your consumers and to your buyers, so that they can that you are accountable for anything that you produce and provide a service or product for. So those are like minimum requirements for the bazaars, and I'm not the one who is imposing this. Basically, this is something that, because I'm a Sindian Berhad, I represent Wind Group Sindian Berhad, and I have contractual agreements with my corporate partners, the venue owners. I too am liable. So that's why I now have no other choice but to follow the rules, follow the guidelines, because audits can happen at any one time. So that's why I put that out. And now I think Thilles will share more on the importance of not only for bazaars, but as an ongoing business entity, you must strive for standards and quality for yourself in order to build trust and accountability with your consumers. So, Thilles, please share with me a little bit about yourself, your company, and after that, I'll just ask a few questions. And yes, you may go ahead with with what you are also having to what your main work is and what your concerns are. So, Tilis, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, June. Thank you so much. We've been wanting to do this session for a very long time, but of course, she's been held up with a lot of things, and pity her, she has got too much of things on her plate. Anyway, this is something very, very important. We've been, I've been always sharing a lot of things, and I wanted to bring this to your attention, especially to Win community lah. Okay, as you know, okay, I always make a lot of noise on, Win. I always share some stuffs, and I know some of them you get irritated lah whenever you see the tax filing and then the deadlines and the penalties. You see, I do that to create awareness because this platform, you know, we are actually doing business. And I think all of you are aware that moving forward, every business, especially on website, which is called e-commerce, is actually going to take place. We are actually already having the laws in place with the income tax and our board of committee, which it's called the CTIM, which is the Chartered Tax Institute of Malaysia. We have some issues that is actually pending with them. So very soon they are going to impose the law, which means even if you're going to advertise in Facebook, right? It doesn't matter, regardless on any platform, you need to be a registered entity. So that is what now today the topic is all about. And I'm going to share with you why do you need to do that? Because I understand that there are still, sellers who are actually selling not on this platform itself, on other platforms as well. They don't know it's actually an offense. Okay, honestly, to tell you the truth, I've been actually dealing with a lot of taxpayers. I'm not a freelancer, I'm actually a registered tax agent. So I have a lot of cases under me where we personally deal with audit cases. And trust me, you'll come to an extent where you will actually think that, oh gosh, I should have just done this right at the first day, at the first time. So that's why I'm going to share why is it important. You see, you're doing a business, I understand, okay, because many taxpayers will come and tell me that, oh, I'm a homepreneur, I'm doing in a small scale. See, the question here is not about whether you physically have an office or you're at a platform or you are actually at a small scale or big scale. The thing is, you're doing a business. Okay, even e-commerce, even in a small scale, even you sell at Lazada also, you're going to be taxed still. So the first thing you need to do, right? Forget about filing returns and all these things. The first thing you need to do is you need to register your company. You need to legalize your entity. You see, when you are selling at Facebook, right, it's only a face. Actually, you're just a face. We don't know what's the name of your profile at the back of the face. So we've got a lot of cases like this. That's why you see a lot of scams come in, and then you can't even lodge a report to the income tax. There's nothing the income tax can do for you. So the first thing you should do is to get your entity registered. You see, you don't have to be a Sinem Berhad or an LLP or whatever entity that you think that is going to bring cost to you. The first thing you got to do is just be a sole proprietor. And when you be a sole proprietor, you need to register your business with SSM. That's the first thing you need to do. It's very actually affordable because now everything is online. You just save the hassle. You just log into all the links that I've given to you all. Actually, you can just scroll through and see. I always shared all the links, so you will have all your profile in SSM. Because what I don't understand is what is so hard for you all to register SSM. The first question will tell me is like, oh, I'm worried I need to go and file returns. Yes, but I don't think there's anything wrong because at the end of the day, in order for you to run a business legally, right, you need to have all this. It doesn't matter the volume of sales or the profit that you're going to make. You will still have to have a face for your business. You have to take accountability of your business that you're running because now what is going to happen in SSM, right? They have collaborated and they have links with LHDN. So even though you don't, right? Because I know I have a lot of sellers who actually give their personal bank account number when we make payment. Okay, to be very honest, that is a big no. Definitely a big no because I've actually brought this attention to June. But of course, she is not able to do a lot of things because she has got a lot of things in her plate. But I had to tell her this as well because you see, tomorrow if something happens, right? There's nothing June can do about it. To be very honest, even if I get cheated on a platform or some other platform, right? I can't do anything. I can't even lodge a complaint. Who do we lodge a complaint to? Who is going to be protected actually? And who is protecting us? Right? So you need to have your SSM done. Okay. SSM done right, it's actually very beneficial. Tell me honestly, you have your profile in SSM. You just have to go to e-data and e-search. Actually, a lot of your investors, right, will come there and make a search on you. Let's say they have a profile of your company. Okay, they want to do some investment. They'll come over there and they'll do a search there. So you have a lot of business opportunity. And the other thing is, when you register your SSM, right, your entity is already legal. Once it's legal, right, you can actually have a lot, you can enjoy a lot of tax incentives. That's what people don't understand. They assume that, oh, as long as I run my personal account, I don't have an SSM registered, I don't have to declare tax. You are wrong. It's no longer that way already, especially with the e-commerce law that is coming into force. They just need your IC. That's all. And they'll track along to your personal account, which I would suggest it's better not to open a box of worm for them. It's better to actually have a segregation between your personal and your business. So just go register your entity, open a business account. Please open a business account. You should not track your business to a personal account, you know, and there's a lot of benefit that comes with this SSM. Like what June said, moving forward for all the basas, you have to have this because you will not only have audit coming in, you will even have, I'm not surprised that the income tax will be also walking in. Because you see, they are actually looking at compliance now. See, there's two different things. Filing returns and declaring your tax is two different things. Not necessarily you need to actually declare or pay tax, but you have to file your returns because it's self-assessment system. So all this comes out from SSM registration. Okay, so I'm not going to really go to the technical part on why SSM is important, but on the surface, this is the importance of SSM. If you don't do it now, you will be forced to do it sooner or later, especially when you run bazaar. We also actually have a plan for our audit team from the income tax to come over and do a random check. So what we will do is we will walk up to SSM because we have the authority. And let's say if we have a whistleblower or someone just sends a name of your profile, we will use that and check with your IC and see whether is your entity legal to run the business. So I believe that you don't want that to happen. So the
No.
best thing you should do is please register.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so like how much is it now to register on SSM?
Okay,
Just an
SSM now it's
enterprise.
very cheap. I think it's about 60. You can just do it online. Yes,
Yeah.
it's 60 ringgit. You just have to, those days, people, they think it's a hassle because they need to go and queue and line. No, there's a link. Just put in all your particulars. For the first time verification, you need to be physically present there. And then they will actually just about 20 minutes. It takes about 20 minutes. They'll just give you a PIN number and everything. You just put it inside and it's done. That's all.
Mm,
And you do the
exactly.
renewal every 1 year or every 2 years. Just renew it
Yes.
and keep it. You know,
Yeah.
and then what was the saddest part? The GKP that the government is giving now, the one off, which GKP 2 was actually 1 and 2 was actually a 3,000 one off aid given by the government, and then the
Mm,
GKP 3 was a 1,000 one off aid. Many taxpayers came to me saying that, oh, how do I claim that? So when I say you want to claim, so where's your SSM? Oh, I don't have an SSM. You see, so you have actually lost out on all this kind of things. These are all small aids the government is giving, and there are
yeah.
more to come. There are more to
Yes.
come.
Exactly. So very good. I mean, some are asking, you see, they get all worried, that they have to do so much. So I'm putting some links here about SSM pages, registration of business, ROB. You can use the Easy Biz Online.
Yeah,
Okay. It's very clear. And we have things like you have to, your trade name, Daftara, Nama Sendiri, and all that. There's a lot here. It's very clear what the statements of what you have to pay for, and then of course, as you said rightfully, yearly, so we always want to give you links, because if there's any changes, it is the
yeah,
government that's in charge for you to check and do yourself in that way. So the registration can be done. Now when I registered the company Win Group, also it cost me a certain amount. For Sindhya and Berhad, of course, what is the cost is it can be anything from a minimum 1,500, 2,000 to 2,500,
yeah.
depending on the company that you go with. And then of course the tax and the your company secretary and your tax agent will do two things. So what happens in a Sindhya and Berhad, just to share with us?
Okay. Okay, what happens in a Sindang Berhad is normally what I would advise as a sole proprietor, you actually have to look at your income. Okay, if you feel your chargeable income is above 500,000, okay, because what happens to a Sindang Berhad is the tax rate is at a flat percentage. It's about 17%. So
Mm,
if your chargeable income have exceeded 500,000, then it's best to move to a Sindang Berhad. But bearing
mm,
in mind, Sindang Berhad, like what June Hamid has said just now, the incorporation fee is somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500, like, depends on which company you're selecting. That's just an incorporation fee. But you also have to incur a secretarial, audit, and tax fee. These are all professional fees, annual filing fees that you need to actually get prepared with. But why you need to have a Sunan Berhad is it's actually merely could be a rules or regulation depending on the nature of your business. Let's say if you don't want to have a Sunan Berhad, okay, but you want to enjoy the benefit of the tax rate, you can move into something called LLP, Limited Liability Partnership. In that entity, you don't have to incur additional compliance costs, but at the same time, you can enjoy the tax rate. But at least you have something. You see, you comply with something. So that what happens, and the filing comes annually for the first year. The extension is given for you up to 18 months. Thereafter, it's an annual declaration you need to do. But of course, that's a bigger scope lah. So if we are looking at entrepreneurship, sole proprietor, if you want to grow, then you have to look into your first step of SSM. Then you move from a sole proprietor to a Sdn Bhd.
Okay, so it's an evolution where we want you to at least register, be accountable, and like you said, you can gain access to so many, like grants or yes, help and support, and you will be even given free or complimentary training on how to be an entrepreneur. So once you're in that zone of really registering your business, the access and the opening to many support, key support will be there by the government agencies and by the ministries itself. So there's a question here. I registered as an enterprise as a sole proprietor. Do I have to change my tax file from BE to B? That's their
Okay.
personal tax file from BE to B.
Okay, so many taxpayers have this question. Okay, you don't have to do any registration, re-registration. Okay, what you have to do is when you have submitted, that means you have moved from your employment income to your business income, right? The system will automatically update SG number to OG number for you. Okay, sometimes you have to go and update. Sometimes it just automatically get updates, and then the following year you will see your alphabets will change. That means it will just merely be from SG to OG.
So in my case, I mean, I do file my personal income tax, and I also file because and also like the Sindhya and Berhad. So people must understand that you do, if you get a salary or if you get allowances or you get anything, you still have to declare, your personal income tax and also the enterprise or the company that you have chosen or an LLP in that case.
Correct.
So you must understand that the two differences, right?
Yes.
And so on,
Both the
be able to.
incomes are actually different. Regardless of what entity you are from, if you're an employer, okay, which means you are getting an employment income and then you are also
Mm,
running a business, right? You have to do a combined assessment. You don't
yeah.
submit BE and then you don't submit B because your assessment is only once a year filed. But the
Yeah.
income is actually combined and you need to do it properly because it's not a sole income, it's a combination of income. And also you might also have other income. So you got to pull everything up and compute the tax and submit
Mm.
one form.
Yes, exactly. So these questions about changing tax files and all that, I don't think it's necessary just yet. It's following the personal and also the enterprise and so on, as you've said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're very accessible, and if they wanted consultation initially to find out more, but they must also. I mean, you are basically a service provider. So
Yes.
you will advise them and perhaps even do their tax. And I notice you share a lot about tax relief.
Yeah.
So tax relief is a big thing. So maybe you want to share also about what are the reliefs that
Yeah,
happens.
because you see, there are many taxpayers when I do their returns, right? They're not aware. Actually, they're not aware. They're when they say pay tax, they're like, oh, okay, I have to pay tax. Oh my God, my tax is so huge. You see, what I always emphasize is you pay justifiable tax. When I say justifiable tax, right, there is a lot of tax reliefs that is available. You have to take count of it, not say that, oh, I wasn't aware of this. I didn't do that. What do I normally do is I prepare my taxpayers a year ahead so that they have the 12 months to actually know which are the release that they have to actually start looking out for, what they have to actually plan. So there is a
Yes.
lot of reliefs like medical for parents, parental care, and then you have child education fund, and then
Mm.
you have now the recent one that they gave us, the government gave us the additional 2,500 for buying laptops and purchases from from 1st of June to 31st of December. This is the Panjana relief that they gave. And there's
Yes.
also for domestic travels, you have an extra 1,000 for domestic travel if you have traveled during the period. This is
Yeah.
only we are talking about individuals. Corporate itself, we have separate reliefs given by the government.
Yeah.
So you need to take note of all this in order for you to pay not to say pay lesser tax lah, pay justifiable tax. So you know how to plan your declaration. rather
Yeah.
than saying that no, I don't want to declare. I want to keep my personal income away. No, trust me, we will some or other will get there.
And so, what are the main reasons for actually showing a healthy balance sheet or declaring income is there? So, would you like to share why is it important to declare income and show a
Okay.
healthy balance sheet?
See, why is it important to declare income, right? You see, at the end of the day, there's two things. One is you need to actually show a financial position. Okay. So when it comes to a balance sheet, the balance sheet basically shows how healthy is your company in terms of what is the value of your company. So tomorrow, if you have any investors who wants to invest in your company, right, the balance sheet has to be healthy because the balance sheet will show your assets and liabilities of the company, whether you're
Mm.
affordable, you're sustainable, will you be repaying any loans that is given to you by the government, and even the bankers will look into that because nobody is just going to walk on and just give you, 100,000 or 200,000 loan, because they need to see the sustainability of the company. That is one. Second thing is you need to have a good profile. You need to have a good record. Okay, how are you going to buy properties? What are the investment you're going to do in future? How do you do all this, or how do you even apply for all this if you don't have any strong financial documents with you? So
Yes.
for some extent you need to start
Yes.
declaring. So
Yeah.
don't
Exactly.
get this perception that the government or the LHDN is going to come the minute I start declaring. No, if you do the right thing, right, there is no way they can pin you down because the tax has their law and the taxpayer is also protected. So you just got
Yeah.
to get the right tax agent to do the right thing. So
Yes.
just do the right thing. So you don't
Yeah.
end up paying anything additional than your hard-earned money because I'm very sure everybody is working very hard because the first thing that the taxpayer tells me that, okay, Thilles, I don't want to pay so much a tax. See, my concept is it's not paying so much a tax or paying lesser tax. It's paying justifiable tax because I need to do justice between the income tax as well as the taxpayer. So,
Yeah.
as compliance, I need to see both because I'm licensed to do so.
Exactly. So, I mean, there are those people who get very caught up with the politics of taxation and
Yeah,
all that. But to tell you the truth, you're very right about when you declare an income, you can grow. Your company can grow, your offerings can grow. If you want to remain stagnant and in your own little pool, you will never grow and you will just be left to your own devices and you've only got yourself to blame. But
yeah,
if you invest in yourself and you show a healthy balance sheet, you can also, buy assets and you can further grow and enable the businesses that you want to be involved in. And, I'm thinking like, whatever we can, of course, there's tax relief. But at the same time, if we can allow for nation building, I mean, what we're doing as tax, at the end of the day, it's for nation building. Our
yeah,
children can go to school, our roads get done properly and the highways are there, we have access to the hospitals, public care system. We should take complete advantage of that,
yes,
and yet people still go and do different. I mean, if you're in the public system, you should go to the public hospitals, you should go to the clinic kesihatan,
correct,
you should send
correct.
your children, maximize the money you've given
Yeah,
for
yeah,
nation
because it's
building initiatives,
it's our
yeah.
contribution, so we
Yeah.
should take charge of that.
Exactly. I personally will use the public health system. I know a lot of people do because it's really first class and better.
Yep,
And why not? These are your rights, so you should maximize and use them as much as you can. And I would say that there is still development in Malaysia, which really needs our nation building tax dollars, and we should be at least open to declaring it in a healthy and proper way so that yeah you can gain a lot of access to development initiatives for yourself to grow your business with grants and business loans and so on, and then help a nation to also grow together, because ultimately we need to look at how are we going to grow Malaysia in that
yeah,
sense. If everybody's going to be just trying to get away from just having a cash business,
yes,
I don't know how you're going to be how you're going to be like trustworthy, and how are going to be people look at you in that sense. So the fact is, I from day one have always had a Sindian Berhad. I pay, the tax agents and my company secretaries enough interesting money, but it's justified because I feel I'm doing the right thing. There's no under the table, underhanded, under declaring sort of tactics. Everything is very transparent, and I pay both, like I said, personal income tax and also company tax, and I just want to make sure everything is on board. So for Win Group, it's very important because our
Yes.
corporate partners will look at us in that we are doing the right thing. So I want to encourage everyone here, if you are associated with Win Group, especially with our bazaars and pop-ups, you must also respect yourself and believe in yourself to register yourself accordingly. So we have imposed the KKM and typhoid as a minimum for food sellers, but now we have to go to the next level of evolution to really also protect people, because I don't want to see you fined. Okay,
Yep.
personally, if anyone is approached by the authorities and fined, you will look at me and say, June, why didn't you tell us, or why didn't you inform us of our rights? But uh, technically, I'm not beholden per se, but I should inform you upfront. So, which is why I put a lot of notices. So even if the regulators want to catch me or the group, I can say I've done my part. I cannot force people by, we can only show a horse the water. I cannot drag you to the water and say drink. You have to do this. So ultimately, it's about there's only so much enforcement I can do. So now with the bazaars, I can. But on the online selling part, you're going to start seeing a differentiation, because even with the WPC members, these are registered entities. We only accept those with, we want them to either already have an SSM or an enterprise or a Sindhyan Brahat, or be in the process. So I've told those who have registered, you must undertake a process to be in the next couple of months or more. We will take you on an interim basis, but we will also have amnesties which will expire, and you are expected to upgrade yourself. And so when that's one way to protect our consumers, our buyers on Win, is by saying when you have a WPC member, they are regulated and vetted by us to be at least accessible and accountable. They do have their ICs with us. They do have their business email with us. There are minimum information that can also be, they can be accounted for. And then I do the mediation based on that fact, because they have invested in the WPC program. So that is why we did it. We could have just been all very like all over the place and kind of like just walking in the park holding hands and singing kumbaya, but we
Yep.
can't. We can't do that anymore, because I am mediating every single day, and I
Yeah.
always go back to what are the terms and conditions, and how has this person displayed their SSM and all that. Even just recently, we've had some maid agencies, for example, who do have SSM and Sindhyan Berhad, but they're not registered with the immigration. There's another extended version of not
Yep.
only having this, but you must be on top of it, more inclined. So even Win Group, we have registered with MITI, with the Ministry of Industry and Trade, in order to be able to trade during this um, CMCO, we must have that also displayed, the right to trade. So I've got additional requirements now as a business, and we must also declare that with our partners. So everything is so open and transparent with us. So by the same token, we also expect the same ethics and the same compliances with our members, the members who actually take up a booth with us. So I'm just thinking, we're already offering very, very low, well below the market rates. I mean, I get scolded by so many people today, saying, June, it's ridiculous how all the prices of the bazaars have gone up, and you're still maintaining these very low prices. How are you making anything to even justify an income for Win Group? And I said, you know what, we'll get by. Okay, we'll get by. I'm not looking to have huge revenues for us. All we want is for everybody to have, money, and be able to, like, because of their rice bowl, they can continue to survive and thrive. So the savings you get from the bazaars, but from the bazaar booth rental rates, you should use that savings to register your business. See, if we charge very high rates, then okay, you can say, okay, June, it's a bit tough for me to go and register a business, because there's it's very because of the cost of your bazaars. And I'm saying our bazaars are like, it's, for the upcoming Ramadan bazaar next week, for the WPC members, is like, you buy 4 days, you get 1 day free. Who gives you this kind of bazaar in an indoor AC mainstream golden triangle of neighborhoods like this?
Yep.
So we are so low rated, like less than 100 ringgit a day. Two people can share. And yet, if you still cannot register your business, I really don't know what to say, lah. whether it's 70 ringgit or whether it's anything below 100 ringgit. And then, of course, doing the necessary on a yearly basis to show, even if you're, like you said, what is the taxable range? It's like below 300,000, Tilas,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
per year.
Actually, it's not.
So
It's not 300,000, June. Actually, that for sole proprietors, right? You are not employed, so you don't have to
yeah,
worry much because you see, even though when you run a business, the first year is definitely is going to be a loss. And
yeah,
the good thing about SSM registration is when you set up a
yeah,
legal entity, the losses is actually carry forward. So you can use the losses to set off for your future profit. So at the end of the
yeah.
day, right? Worst case scenario, you pay tax in the upcoming 2 years' time. Actually, June was, she was having a debate with me why we need to have SSM, and she is too good. So she said, no, no, it's okay lah, and all this. So I said, no, June,
That
it
was
just
earlier. That was much earlier. Now I
correct.
see
There
the
was
light.
much after that, she was actually she's very good. She doesn't want to actually impose anything and all that. But the question here is not about imposing. You see, there must be some compliance and regulation. So when I was brought in to ask, I told June, I've been actually pressing her and telling her, no, June, everybody has to have an SSM because I myself am a buyer. I am a
Mm.
silent buyer. I buy things. I do support this group actually, but I'm a bit upset because most of the sellers are actually sharing their personal bank account. You see,
Mm.
I have nothing against it, but it
Mm.
is not ethical and it's
Exactly.
actually considered illegal
I
because
think
you
up to
need to
70,
legally do business.
agreed. Up to 70% of them are sharing, I would say, more than half are sharing their personal bank accounts when I make fund transfers. And not only
Exactly.
their own accounts, their husband's account or their son's
Exactly.
account. Those poor men are going to be now caught by having
Yes.
some sort of income coming in, which they're not declaring. So then
Exactly. Exactly.
it's all like, you're putting them into. So I was thinking it's so odd. And by right, I should refuse to even put money in there, because if anything goes wrong, I can only show from my bank, and I don't get a receipt per se, and I'm just going on trust. I'm
Yes.
literally going on trust. But for
Correct.
the WPC members, I see a lot of them have the SSM enterprise and the businesses, so I really feel secure
Yep.
buying from them, because they do that upfront. So it's just that while we're here trying to support and be nice to them and take care of them, this is only going to run for so long. In fact, we will run out of this kindness, because we will be then held accountable. I will be held accountable. So, which is why I put out these disclaimers, these legal notices. I put out the rules and regulations. Yes, you may hate me or love me because of it, but because I am now more visible, the group is visible, we are accountable. So we cannot go under the radar. When we were like 5,000 members, and I think Tillis, when you were way back when we were like 5,000 or less, whatever, it was okay because we were under the radar and all that. But now, because of more prominence, which is actually very good from our cyber bullies and of our harassers and stalkers and all that, we are more prominent as a result and becoming more famous. So, of course, if you're in the limelight, I need to make sure that everything is also done proper and kosher.
Yes.
So I was always on the protecting the group and the community, because I wanted them to be able to do what they wanted, and trial and figure out where they want to find their niche. But I think for some of them now, the evolution has come, that they have become seasoned, they become good entrepreneurs, they started to be very good at business. So why not go and evolve to the next level, to
Yeah.
register yourself and do the right thing, the proper thing. And all you have to do is just register, and then after that, look at how you want to declare your income. And for that, you can engage a tax agent like Tilis, and she will be the one to guide you through the process. Because when you do
Yeah.
personal income tax, when you file your EA form, all the exemptions are there, all the relief is there. But
Yeah.
when it comes to, of course, LLP, and when it comes to enterprise, or when it comes to Sdn Bhd, it's a very manual process which you need experts for. And
Yeah.
if you're very savvy and you want to do it yourself, go ahead. But
Yeah.
it's better to do the right thing, to speak to how you can actually get relief. There's a lot
Yeah.
of relief. The types of relief is, when you go for business meetings, or when you're parking, or your
Yeah.
petrol, anything related to your business is a relief for you. And you
Yeah.
shouldn't be taxed on things, because you've got your revenue, okay,
Yeah. And
and
there's
then
one
you've got
thing,
to look at the
June.
costs. What?
Apart from SSM only, right? I also
Yeah.
need to emphasize here because you see, they are assuming that okay, once I've registered SSM, I'm fine. No, in
Yeah.
order for you to claim all these business expenses, you must set up your business account under
Yes.
your enterprise name.
Yes.
Thereafter, you will actually have everything done. Like what June said, please, appointing a tax agent is way much better, would not cost you such a huge damage compared to
Mm,
you filing
mm,
the wrong returns and ending
yeah.
up in the income tax
Paying
office.
more,
Trust me.
paying more tax. So the point
Exactly.
of hiring, I'll be honest, the point of hiring a company secretary and also doing my taxes is I want to be told what I can gain certain
Yes.
exemptions and relief for. Because I do a lot of actually pro bono or sponsorship of a lot of things. And so by right, that also should be a relief for me rather than be taxed on
Correct.
that income. So
Correct.
we need the help and expertise of them. And I'll be honest, like when I was running my training company, it was a different type of business. When you run Win as a group, it's a different type of business. So you have to be mindful of what is and your businesses may also change. Your revenue
Yep.
stream may also change incoming from the sources that you're looking at because now we have to be very versatile. So the best people is, of course, the tax agents. And I'm not just advocating Thilles as the only one person. There are many out there. I'm not endorsing her outright. I'm not getting any commission or income from Thilles. So, it's like
Yeah.
anyone
We
can
just
find and
I,
see.
exactly. We just want, I mean, to be very honest, I have very old based clients. My importance, Utmus, is actually the compliance. Please do the right thing because it's too late to come to me or any other tax agent and ask for help or seek for help because I get a lot of taxpayers come to me and say that, oh, I didn't know this was supposed to be claimed. Oh, I didn't know that was a relief. So you need
Mm,
to, you see, when you're a doctor, right, you need to build a house, right? You can't go and do it yourself, so you got to get an architect to come in. So I would not say, let's not just think about the cost. It's just an annual filing fee that you're going to
mm,
incur.
mm.
You're going to do it right. So get the experts to. It doesn't matter
Yes,
who you're comfortable with.
yeah,
Just get the person to do it for you. That's all.
yeah. And it's quite but bearing in mind also it's very private and confidential about your way of doing business and some of the things. I mean, I don't want to Tilis will never divulge the information that she has with some of her clients, but I've heard from third party tax agents where people even they can claim their glasses. I have about 4 glasses, and they're all prescription glasses which I need for my business. So you can imagine I got one here, I got another here, so you can claim even this, and all the things that you have, from your mouse, from your laptop, from your electricity, your water, everything to run your business is basically something that is your cost, and you're not going to be taxed on your costs. So anything that helps you to be doing the business, there's a portion that is, of course, that is your relief. So we must be educated. You don't want to pay tax lump sum on every single thing when by right you have also some cost to manage your business, daily cost in itself. And then, of course, paying yourself an income, paying yourself a salary from your business is important to survive and to cover your expenses, your ongoing expenses. And then you grow from that incrementally. So it's really, finding out, positioning yourself accordingly, and then getting, the optimal solution for yourself and your business in the long run. I think that's why we wanted to do today, really sharing about some of the amnesty or some of the processes we're going to do, but it's really about you going to the next level. So I will be doing an injustice or a disservice by not sharing this kind of information with everyone and not having Thilles, who is one of our subject matter experts in this area, to share her expertise and to help you all out. Okay, so if of course, by all means, please reach out to her after this. But if she suddenly has a surge of so much of business coming, she will also direct you to similar tax agents because you're not in competition with each other.
Yeah.
Basically, you're there to help each other, and
Yes.
there's enough of opportunities to go around. You
Yeah,
cannot
actually, for a
be
fact, June, I
one
do
person.
get messages from Win, and I mean, that's why sometimes it's like my inbox is like flooded, and I have to like take
Mm,
some time. But you see,
yeah,
I do. You see, when you reach out to me, I do because I don't want you to do something that is wrong and end
yeah,
up paying, unnecessary fines and penalties. Because I'm a
yeah,
tax agent, so I
yes,
need to do justice to my
yeah.
ethics. So if
And
you have
yes,
anything, please do come.
Yeah, but Thilles is also running a business. The thing is, like, I noticed a lot of people will ask questions, and we're all running businesses, even myself. I mean, just yesterday, I did a 10-page document for our info kit, and yet people are still asking me information about the bazaar. So when I'm being bogged down by operations, and we've prepared so many documents for people to read, we also cannot do strategic stuff. So this is why, if you are going to ask Thilles, please be mindful of her time and engage her, pay for her services at the end of the day, and she's not forcing you to, but
Yeah.
there's only so much that she can give free advice for. I mean, she would come to, she would give you, like, some of the basic information, some of the vanilla, but if you're going to ask very technical peanut butter type of questions, I mean, can you imagine her poor time? She can't actually then afford to give so much of her lovely free time to many others. So it's the same for me. I mean, I've got
Yeah.
so many announcements and so many things, and I just now share links. I share links, and people can then go and read it and get updated and educated in that way. So it's the same with Tillis. Be mindful of the fact that she's very helpful, and she is definitely, it's not about money for her, it's about
Yeah.
helping, but also she has to feed herself, as we all do. Right. So, yeah, if she can, if she knows it's going to be complicated, she will quote you a price. And that's not something that is like really cannot be said, or something of that sort. So let's be, meaningful and ethical with each other, that there's only so much of free advisory and consultancy that we can all give. So after a while, we need to be more, to be aware of that. Yeah. But
That's
yes,
one of
there's
the
a lot of
reason.
people.
That's one of the reason, June, I'm running this workshop, because what happened is I started having a lot of questions. So I didn't want to ignore that. But at the same time, like what you say, thank you for addressing that, because you see, I am running on deadlines. So I have clients that have engaged me. So I need to spend time doing their submissions. So I run workshops to educate them so that
Mm,
taxpayers are aware, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to go, and this is what I need to look for. So at least to some extent, right, I have taught you what you need to do. So
yeah.
when you engage the accountant or a tax agent, you know what you're looking at. You don't come and say that, oh, I just gave this, but at the end of the day, she filed everything for me. I don't like my clients saying that. I always put them in a state that you need to know what I'm doing. so
Yes.
so if you can afford, just attend all those workshops, because I do run workshops to educate you, so you know where you stand, you know what's important for you, and then you move on from there.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, how much are your workshops?
Okay,
Your
my
your
workshops, what I'm running now, June, is very basic because I really don't have time because my corporate classes are running. And I've put that on hold because my submissions all are on, they have started already, the routine yearly one. So the basic workshop that I run is 350, where I teach. It's actually for those who are starting to run business and what they need to know, what are the expenses, and many of them actually has given me good feedbacks on my workshop, saying that they have actually they weren't aware of what they need to do, what is important. So I've actually saved them from a lot of errors at the end of the filing period.
good,
So this
good.
is what I'm looking at actually. Because you see, part of my ethics is I need to educate taxpayers.
Mm.
Apart from cari makan lah.
Yes, of
So
course.
that is it. So
So
that's my intention.
so basically they attend your courses, or or at least one workshop, and then is it possible to eventually be able to do your own tax return yourself if you
The
get quite good at
Okay,
it?
doing your tax return yourself is only for employment income. For a sole proprietorship, you won't be able to do your tax, but you will be able to plan your tax. You
Mm,
see, you still have to come back. For instance, if I'm your tax agent, right, you still have to come to me the following year. But I
mm,
will prepare you the beginning of the year itself and tell you, hey, look, your tax is going to be this much. So you better plan. Because you see, once you have actually lapsed the whole 12 months, right, you can't go back and re-incur your expenses. You
mm,
see, that's the difference. So an employment income, like what you addressed it just now, it's very straightforward. You just put in your income, everything will come out as a. But sole proprietor, different natures have different kind of categories of business, and different expenses to claim, different incentives to look for. So that is where we come in, because I don't
yes,
think if you are not a tax agent, you will be able to actually identify those areas. You might make an error in the declaration itself. So I would
yeah,
not justify that you will be able to do it, because I have taxpayers who have done that and come back to me saying that, yeah, it's my mistake. I should have got an accountant. I should have got the tax agent to do it for me. Now I have been imposed 45% for undeclaration under section 11 sub 2. That is
Mm.
omission of returns.
Yeah. Agreed.
See,
So that's great. I mean, the thing is, everyone must remember that they are taxed on their profit. But in order to know their profit, you must also have your revenue minus the cost in order to get your profit. So earlier, when I was running bazaars like intermittently, like every quarter, and now everyone says, let's have more frequent bazaars. My projects of bazaars has become like my operations now because it's every month. And so I've started to like, the headache, in order to also cater to everybody's demands. For me personally, it's like more work, more. I'm constantly writing up payment vouchers, and in fact, I roll and pay first, and then and so on, because it's just, yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare to plan ahead. But the point is, it has, and I can't keep doing that. Of course, I want to. My banks are another issue, lah. Okay, and I've been explaining about the whole banking issue, but getting a proper banking system and online payment system is critical so that you can pay your liabilities. Those you have to pay your invoices for must be done properly from the bank accounts. And that way you start to see a healthy balance of what is your net profit, or what's your balances, and then you can start projecting. So I think once after 1 year, and especially with the Sydney Berhad, you have to project your future year of what's your operations going to be like, and then there is basically paying in advance for
yeah.
some projected tax, right?
Yeah,
And
in Malaysia, we have to pay. We are just like Singapore tax, but in
mm,
Malaysia, we emphasize paying in advance because
mm,
we are projecting. We need to pay first. For instance, if you feel that you are not going to make the profit, there will be a revision given to you twice in a year. But you have
mm,
to meet the projection and you have to comply, because if you don't
mm,
do it, then there will be a default on the payments. So that is
right.
for Sanyam Berhad. Same goes
Yeah.
to our sole proprietor. So you will receive a CP 500. That's
Mm,
also an advance payment that you need to do. So,
mm,
you need to get yourself prepared for all this if you're looking for a better,
yeah.
investment in your business.
Exactly. So there is always I mean, that's always good to be aware of your, the rights that you have, and also the obligations that you have as a business owner. So I think a lot of us are, proudly saying we are business owners. A lot of them who reach out to me say, I have this business. And I'm like, then you're a business owner. So a business owner has their legal obligations and rights in which they have to follow through. So that's part and parcel. Unless you just say, I'm a person and I'm just selling today, I'm not going to sell tomorrow, then it's then it's something which no one will trust you at the end of the day. So it's like, it really is a mindset and a paradigm shift to really define the business ownership and understanding, which then is the ethics of doing the business properly, in not only for win but anywhere, anyhow, that you want to build trust with your consumers. And it's becoming more and more apparent that buyers, consumers are only trusting enterprises and Senior and Berhad. There's a
Yeah.
lot of issues with online, and with scammers and people who are taking money in advance and not fulfilling. So we are very, very mindful, because we have quite a significant food business in which at least there's 30%, 50%, or 100% of the monies. I notice a lot of them that I buy from, they want 100% of the money upfront before I can even get the food delivered. But these are people who have proven time and time that they're going to come through. But my concern is, I'm paying to their private personal account. So if there's any remedy in the case of them not delivering as promised, then I bear the brunt of an out of pocket experience. I'm at loss. So there are a lot of these mediations that come forward, where a lot of the buyers, for example, will the buyers, of course, are the ones who raise the issues. They'll come to me and say, June, this is the issue with the seller. So when I look at the seller, and we have a mediation and discussion, I find that the seller will be like saying, oh, it is me that is I'm the one who had to spend and all that, for because of what the buyer had expected. And then I tell them, actually, you have taken the buyer's money and you have spent the buyer's money. You have not spent the money. You are not out of pocket. because you have then projected a expense. You have sold, for example, a jar of jam for 20 ringgit, okay? And your production is, you wouldn't only make one bottle of jam, you would make about 20. So that's about 400 ringgit worth of jam, in which your cost is 30%. And then you've got your set 70%, which is your, your profit margin and so on. So then you're selling this, whether it's a pickle or whether you've got certain, elements there. But you've already projected costs and you've covered everything there. And so when the buyer is buying that, the buyer is expecting you to deliver a certain standard of quality and satisfaction. So when they come in, so whether it's 20 ringgit, whether it's 2,000 ringgit, whether it's a painting, the seller is arguing with me and saying, oh, I'm out of pocket because I said, no, whatever it is, you have spent the money of the buyer because you've taken advance payment and you have projected a cost which is going to cover your cost and also profit margin. So by the same token, that is why this country protects consumers. The commercial agreement or the contractual agreement is there because it is the buyer that buys from you, that invests in you. Okay, so I must impress upon them that it is not the seller who's out of pocket, unless of course you have put in everything and then no one has been buying from you and so on, because a lot of them are seasoned sellers here. So I find the arguments are a bit redundant for me, because they say, okay, June, why aren't you protecting the sellers? And I'm like, because this whole country is about protecting consumers. And there's honestly speaking, there's no law to protect sellers unless it's a civil right to be, and also that you are party to an agreement in which both parties have agreed upon. So the protection is really about commercial agreements, consumer law. Okay, so the issues which keep coming back to me is like, Win is not protecting the sellers, it's only very buyer focused. I'm sorry to say yes, because that is how the laws of this country is. Win is no different or separate from the laws of this country. I would find myself very hard pressed to go and support a seller, or go out there and fight a fight, unless of course there has been some other rules or terms and conditions which have been flouted, which is not being kind or ethical, or using four-letter words and everything. I may intervene and then put a mute on both of you until you behave and talk to each other like adults and not children. But the point is, it is really about, the fact is, if you advertise goods and services which do not meet satisfaction of the buyer itself, you are accountable. You are 150% accountable to provide that service. And I do not have any rights in your contractual agreement. So that the fact is that we are offering even mediation is something which is really out of our scope, because I'm not a third party who has any rights. I cannot, like WPC, for example, is offline. I don't charge you to even like advertise on Win. So I don't have even any rights to tell you what to do and to enforce things with what you're saying. I can only put a registry up and then I can just say, okay, these are vetted, accounted for. But at the end of the day, I'm still a third party. And the two of you, buyer and seller, are the ones who are connected to each other to talk about win-win terms and conditions, and also about dissatisfaction and everything. So everyone who comes across to me, I always say, what are the terms and conditions that both of you agreed upon? And why is it that we are now being pulled upon for that? So that's the idea of the fact that I want to emphasize here about really, how business is also not only from the trustworthy part of registering yourself, but also the fact that there's a contractual agreement, terms and conditions which are very clear, in which you are a ongoing business entity, in which you also keep your registrations up to date, and you are proper in that sense. Okay, so that's why I'm just wanting to share this in that way. Yeah. So okay, so Thilles, I think we're coming to the end. We've done like a good 1 hour. Is there any further additional information you'd like to share before we end this live session?
Okay, I have a request in a sense that once you have actually put up your SSM, please do up your bank account, and documentation is very, very important. Please keep all your documents, and what documents you need to, I can share with you, because that's what I do in my workshops. Because why I'm emphasizing this is, right, I mean, if you want to go and find out also, it's fair enough. Just because you see, you just registering your SSM and having a bank account itself is not sufficient. So in order for you to file your returns, you need to do proper bookkeeping. So even before you go to a Sendam Berhad, right, you need to learn the basic here first. So please do up all this, because I have a lot of taxpayers who are having issues now, and we are actually constantly at the all the branches, arguing with the officers, and because we need to give them evidence, in order to protect the taxpayers. So before I leave this session, right, I would just suggest, if you don't know, please get some advice and prepare your documentation, so that in future, if you get audited, you have something concrete to fall on. That
Exactly.
would be my piece of advice as a tax agent. Please don't take
Exactly.
them, they are no longer being, of course they will help you, but then, right, they're just waiting a small mistake, they're just going to nip you with penalties. So I've seen too many lah, so I just don't want that to happen. Just do the
Yeah.
right thing from the right way, and day one. That's what I would
Yes.
advise lah.
Exactly, precisely. So thank you very much, Thilles. I do appreciate this. It has been a long time coming, and we have now we really have to do this because yes, the government is coming down a bit more because the coffers have taken an impact because of the pandemic. So
Yes.
they are doing what they have to do. That's their right.
Yeah.
They have to recover, and also part of this economic recovery is to do audits and checks and
Yes.
balances. So we just have to comply. And
Yeah.
if it didn't happen because of the pandemic, it would have happened inevitably sooner than later. So we can't run away from this certainty. So that's why it's good to have this. We will continue perhaps to have further discussions. I would really recommend that everyone listen in to any of the FB lives that Thilles is doing. Anyone else who's also sharing some information about taxes and companies and so on. Be interested, be curious, ask questions, educate yourself. Go to the website. I know some of you are saying, oh, it's in Malay. There's a version where you can change it to English.
English.
Okay,
Yeah. You just
you
have to
can
go to
change
the
it. You just
language
have to
and you
double
just
click
click that.
English. There's
Yeah.
Bahasa Melayu and there's also English. Okay,
Yeah.
so we cannot say that we don't know.
Yeah.
We have to know, or we have to find out in the proper thorough way, and because the law states that ignorance is not a defense.
Yeah.
Okay, being ignorant is not a defense. So that it's the
And
same token of
it
yes.
also says that we are in self-assessment system, which
Mm.
means, we are held responsible till we prove it to the DG that he is wrong. So anything that we declare, right, we are responsible for it. So you don't want to be in a place where you need to be dragged to the court of appeal, and then come back from there. Probably you think, oh, I'm just a small fry lah, they're not going to bring me, bar me, and all these things. No, they're just going to come to everybody. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
time.
Yes, matter of time. So Alicia is asking here, as buyers, should we be discouraging payment to a personal account number? I feel I've reduced spending because of this. So it is a sad fact of truth that if you are paying to a personal account number, I mean, honestly, there's going to be more questions than answers as to why are you doing this. We are not on, we're not forcing or enforcing. We're not government agencies.
Yeah.
I'm just at the grassroots level. I'm just also trying to find a window for everybody and move forward. I just want you to do the right thing, and especially the sellers, the entrepreneurs. You must do the right thing so that there is trust in what you do. So it is odd when there is private payments
Yeah.
made. you know
Yeah.
so then there's you could ask, and of course the seller has to then say, yeah, we are in process, or we're getting it done. And then
Yeah.
and of course the second time you're still doing it, then I think I'm
Yeah.
also finding I'm hesitating. I'm
Yeah.
very happy when I see an enterprise account when I'm paying into it, because I
Yeah.
know they're doing the right thing. When I'm actually like having to pay into personal accounts, I kind of hesitate, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I'm not saying anything. I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, just be both parties, just be aware and ask
Yeah.
the right questions,
And I
and
think if you ask June the question, she has to say that. But if you ask me, right, I have to say no, because I am entrusted by the government of LHDN, because you see, our license is actually given by them. So
to
we
get to
are
do
considered,
say the right thing.
yes, we are considered their messengers, so I will have to tell you, please do the right thing. I'm not discouraging anybody from running a business or what. I'm just trying to tell you that you should register as a SEP. There is no offense, Arvind, and don't get worried that oh, I'm going to be called for you just got to do the right thing. So I'm always available. You can ask me if I'm around. I will definitely guide you with all those simple and basic necessity compliances that you need. So
Exactly.
don't trash me because I said don't pay a personal account and all these things. Like I'm sharing what is right that needs to be done moving forward, because we as a community, we want Win to grow, and I think we are growing. So we need to bring all this enforcement together so we will comply with everything. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, you've heard Tillis' version, you've heard my version, and as always, I'm caught in between, but I'm now moving towards the version that's on the right path together. Okay, so let's do that collectively together, and let's win. Let's really win on this and be successful in that regard. So, with that, I think thank you very much. We have actually a course coming up. You're having one 25th of July.
Yes.
Your next one. But very long lines in July. Is there anything more recent?
No. I think this one is no. I have one in 25th of April.
Okay,
It's on the
25th of
Sunday. I
April. So
think.
do
Yeah.
share.
I haven't really shared the details yet. So I
Right,
have
right.
one in the 25th of July.
Okay,
Sorry, April.
okay. So if everyone could, it looks like you're having monthly sessions then.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm
yeah.
always I'm now I have actually reduced it to once a month because it's during my peak now, and
Mhm.
I have to attend a lot of court cases actually, so I'm not able to
Okay.
run a couple of
Court
classes.
cases,
So
because
yeah,
why
because
the government is going after those who are not paying, is it? And not.
yeah, actually, if you notice, right, normally we will put an extension order of 104. That means you are barred from going out from the country. But now since it's COVID, right? So definitely you can't fly out. So now we are going to Chawangan Guaman Civil. That means those who don't pay will be pulled to the court. So we have to take
Okay.
up the cases from there.
So now we have
Um,
to be all careful when the doors open. Not everybody can travel if they don't do the right thing. That's basically it. Yeah. Okay,
exactly.
wonderful. So thank you very much, my dear. I do appreciate this sharing. I am so much better for it myself, and I'm sure those of you who have tuned in will be also. And for those of you who have just come in, you can still listen to the whole session. It's going to be available as a pre-recording also after this. And please just be mindful, be aware, keep yourself educated, updated about all things ethical to do proper business here on Win and everywhere else. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much, Tilas. Let's have
Thank
a
you,
great
June. Thank you very
Friday
much.
evening. If it wasn't, a sort of a CMCO, we'll be somewhere partying or having an Ask Anything together the gathering. We'll plan that soon. Soon we're gonna have that soon. But the point is, yeah, I think it's good times now to share information while things are a bit quieter, because
Yep.
once we're in the full swing of recovery and the borders are open and all that, people tend to forget. They
Yeah.
get so excited having fun, then they forget about fundamentals, and it's good to do that. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much, and rest of you have a good Friday and a good weekend, and we'll see you at the bazaar next week from
Yeah. See you.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days, one time only 5-day bazaar, just so to celebrate pre-Ramadan and so on. Yeah, and also Mother's Day and a few other things. So see you soon. See you, Tilis. Take care. Take
Bye.
care.
Take care. Take
Bye.
care. Bye. Bye. Bye.